everyone, I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper, and welcome back to Build. The STARZ Original Series, The Rook, tells the story of Myfanwy Thomas, a woman who wakes up in the rain, surrounded by dead bodies, and no memory of who she is. However, she soon discovers that she's a high-ranking official in Britain's Secret Service for people with paranormal abilities. Today, I'm sitting down with stars Emma Greenwell, Olivia Munn, and Richardson. But first, here's a trailer.
Hello. As you can see, I am you. What I'm about to tell you, it'll be dangerous. If it fell into the wrong hands, it could have devastating consequences. Someone is going to attack me and wipe my memory. If you're watching this, then I'm afraid I've failed.
What happened at the bridge?
I don't know. My memory's a massive black hole. You work for a secret wing of British intelligence that recruit people with certain abilities.
You're an EVA. You have extreme variant abilities. Abilities that are only possible at the farthest reach of human biology.
What kind of monster am I?
Like all rare and valuable things, EVAs are trafficked. They're stolen, smuggled, traded.
I'm just trying to find out what happened.
You're in danger from all directions, even from yourself.
I think I'm being watched.
What do they look like?
All men that want to kill me. Who did this to me? And why? Why would anyone do this to me?
The person who betrayed you is right here. Don't trust anyone.
Put your hands together for Olivia Munn, Emma Greenwell, and Richardson. How you guys doing today?
How you open, like, just, you guys didn't hear, but as I was rolling into this, she's like, you guys can curse and do whatever you want. It's the internet. Just do whatever you want. You can curse.
The internet.
Fucking great. You can curse.
There's just like a freedom with the internet that
By
I
the way,
love.
cursing is like the least offensive thing you can do on the internet. You can curse. It's the internet.
This is true. But feel free to curse even more. I say cuss. I'm from Nebraska.
I've been very good so far, so I'm sorry about that.
So I intended to sit down and just watch the first episode of this, last night to get the vibe. I watched the first 3. This is not a show that you can just watch one of, so congratulations. Like,
Thanks.
It is so rare to sit down with a show and be so engaged from the beginning because part of it is just such a mystery. So it's a British spy thriller mixed with some kind of like hyper ability, supernatural-esque. I mean, it's really an original premise. So what were your reactions the first time you saw this script?
I loved it so much. It was like how you felt. Like every page was just so interesting, and I was trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together myself, and I love that all of the main characters were all going in their own direction, and that's what kept it just so fast-paced and moving for me, and I really like puzzles and shows that are, I love, British spy thrillers. I think they do them, the best, and so it was just a really complex, interesting, script to read.
For me, it's always a question of, do you want to turn the next page? And I remember feeling that with the Nip Tuck, and then the Rook was the next one. I wanted to know what happened to Emma and her memory and how she'd got there. So I just couldn't stop reading.
Did anybody cheat and go to the end?
We didn't have
Never.
an end.
No, at the end of the pilot, like when you had the script, did you feel like, oh, I need to?
No.
No, I sort of realised quite early on that there were going to be no answers to those questions. So, you had to say yes to the job in order to find out what was going to happen.
So you play Myfanwy. First, I love that name. And I also love that
Thank
in
you
the
for
show, they help us
pronouncing it right.
clarify it's Myfanwy like Tiffany. I think that's important. Tell us about your character.
So I wake up surrounded by dead bodies and with no memory and no idea what body I'm in. And I have some notes in my hand that tell me to run and to trust no one. And it's sort of this journey that we go throughout the season trying to figure out what happened and why it was taken. It's how Olivia comes in because she is also that incident that happens she has a connection to. And Jolie is sort of the boss. She's the king, which is awesome. And yeah, it really is a puzzle. It's a mystery, and like you said, it's sort of you have to keep going because you want to know the answers.
And then it's really freaky when you see the videotapes that the film clips that Emma has left. Myfanwy has left to herself saying, if you're watching this, it's already too late. It's happened. And that really freaked me out. I thought that was genius.
And you said, they don't give you tons of scripts at a time, right? You get one script at a time?
Pretty much.
So how does that influence your performance with her in particular, because she's clueless?
You know what? I'm going to be very honest here. It was such a joy going into a role where they were like, we want you to know nothing. And I was like, brilliant. So I just show up. And it kind of was that thing where they were like, you don't read the book, which this show is based on a book. Don't read it. We're not going to tell you anything. And the whole time I was guessing who done it. And I was so wrong, which makes me sound really stupid because I was there day in, day out. And I probably could have had a better guess, but I was totally
That's how
wrong.
complicated it was.
Yes.
There was no, even us as actors doing it, there wasn't a clear-cut answer, even as it's going on, we're filming it, we're reading the scripts, but, it was a surprise for all of us as well.
Can we just talk about that opening scene too? Was that really difficult to shoot or fun? Because you're just sort of like wet.
They were
and
very smart. That was the first day shooting. So it was like, first day, can't complain. I've never worked with like rain rigs. And it wasn't super cold. And the guy said to me, I'm really sorry, but because it's not that cold, we're actually going to have to freeze the water.
Why?
Yeah, so that it doesn't steam. And I also had prefaced it with, I'm very accident prone, and there was like a little stunt, and they're like, oh, it's tiny, it's nothing. I was like, I don't think you understand. Like, I fractured my wrist on the first day. Yeah, no, it was a pretty intense, it was 7 hours of lying on a London sidewalk, which is obviously pretty grim. But I was just so excited to be there that I didn't complain, and it was great. But we had to go back afterwards to sort of get other things, and I definitely had PTSD, and I can't go to the Tate Modern anymore.
do you guys have any interesting stories from taping in London?
I mean, just being in London was just such an experience, and to be able to film right there on the streets. And, the first thing I ever shot was at St. Pancras Station, which Emma just goes, it's the Harry Potter station for people, the train station, the Harry Potter train station.
Pancras.
St. Pancras.
Like, oh, yeah,
Platform 9 3/4 is King's Cross and Pancras.
Yes. And it was, but it was a very special experience. I think, as an actor, you have this idea of like, how cool it's going to be and being, in all these different locations. And, a lot of times we're on a studio set, and even when I'm in Vancouver and Montreal, which I love, we're just locked into studios. So to be able to be in London and film, and also they don't shut down London, like it keeps going. Like, so we're having to move around people. It was a really exciting, fun thing to do.
And Jolie, that's home for you, right?
No,
you were bored.
half of the time. But my character, she's whispering me something. What?
Town and country.
Town and country. Oh, okay. No. Maybe, sorry, a little, no, my character's entrance was along, Farrier's entrance was along in a boat on the River Thames. And then the night we were filming it, so we were doing it again and again, a guy jumped off the bridge. And because we were filming and we had little safety boats around, we were able to save him. So that was a first. It was the big splash that got everyone's attention. Sorry.
Yeah, the body jumping.
We saved him, thank goodness.
Yeah. On the topic of your character, Linda, the king, she's fascinating to me because she's somebody who we don't actually know that much about. Like, she's very sort of, controlling all the heads, but
yes, she's very private. She holds it all. I think to work in the secret services, you have to keep everything incredibly close to your chest. But also, she's not emotional. She doesn't smile. Like, I don't know if she smiles for the whole series, but I loved playing her because it was such a mystery to hold everything in and just occasionally to show glimpses of what you really feel.
Yeah. So can I trust her, though?
I'm not answering that. Watch the rest of the season.
And Olivia, you play Monica. She's the only American in this office. So why does she come to this office in London?
So my character comes into London because something had happened, and this is where Myfanwy's character and my character have this commonality. And my character finds out in the first episode that someone she loves very much has been killed. So for her, the whole season is trying to figure out why and who, and So that's why she's there.
And I love how you guys are being very muted with your descriptions. I appreciate that because I'm also trying to figure out how to ask things without spoiling
Oh
it.
my God, I'm
Is it a
so-
hard show to
it's,
talk
it's
about?
difficult. I
right?
feel for
No,
you.
they're so good at it. I just ramble and talk, and I end up saying way too much, and so that was really hard for me just to stop.
It was great. I was like, guys are doing a really great job because I so often want to be like, and this, and it's like, well, no, because that was such a fun thing for me to discover and experience. I don't want to give it away.
But it also helps when you're not quite sure yourself. Like we shot 3 different endings. I don't even know how it ends.
I asked. I turned.
It's easy. I'm kind of cheating. Like, oh yes, it's a mystery, but I don't know.
It is a
Don't know.
mystery. No, it is a mystery. I turned to Emma earlier today. We were doing a bunch of interviews, and I was like, I don't know if I just can't remember, but like, how does it end, and who did it? And she's like, well, we did shoot 3, and we don't know yet. So I felt better. I thought, like, God, I'm horrible. I don't even know.
We're not lying. We actually don't know.
I really
Don't know.
I
Do
love
they
that they
know?
also keep you guys in the dark.
But also, usually, like a series goes on, and then it's like, oh, we'll shoot 3 endings so people don't know. And this was the first season, so it was like, God, we're already at that place. So.
Let's talk about the supernatural abilities. They're not, so I'm not somebody who's always drawn to like superhero things, but I was really drawn to this because their abilities are just kind of like heightened things that people might already have. Was that a fair statement?
One of our writers is a biologist, and so everything that all the sort of powers, we call them EVAs, extreme variant abilities, are all things that we possibly could. The human body it would be possible to achieve that. So that's kind of, it's very grounded in reality.
So what is Myfanwy's?
Transdermal neurotransmission.
Yeah, that's.
You know, we
Yeah,
all
you
have
understand
that.
what
It's
that means,
just
yeah.
hers is better than everybody else's.
Yeah.
I've got that. I was born with it though.
Me too.
So,
Do you know what? Basically, what that means is you have an energy through your skin. So actually, every single person in this room has it. Just hers is really heightened. Like the poster, she's got like this sort of electric field.
It's not an anti-frizz
Oh, Emma.
ad.
Oh, it's like when you rub your feet on the carpet and you go and touch a doorknob. But like times to the nth degree.
I do get electric shocks a lot.
Yes, you
I
do?
do, often. Yeah, I am that annoying person that touches you and
Oh,
you're like,
gosh.
ow, and I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then I have a thing that when I'm in a real state emotionally, which I usually try and keep hidden, all the electronics around me will go funky. That's quite common. Yeah, no,
I
that
can
is common.
vouch.
She can vouch.
That happened just the other day.
How?
Yeah,
Can
what do
please
you?
explain that?
mean
Like
with
a
the lighting?
magnetic
Journey
field,
was
but
also
when you
almost not allowed into Canada. And, you know, because
I
of
would say,
the visa
like,
situation, and her phone just
Brandon,
wasn't
Emma's
working.
manager.
And Brandon, lovely Brandon, my manager, saved the day.
He did.
Hero.
So whenever you're emotionally distressed, like technology starts to glitch.
Yes. But it is common. I'm not saying I'm unique in this way.
No, but
it does
it's- well,
happen to
yeah.
a lot of people. It's just to do with your energetic field. Listen, again, every single person in this room has an energetic field. Yes. This is a proven fact.
Spiritual conversations are my favorite. So everything you're saying right now, I'm like, can we
Okay,
keep talking
we'll
about
talk
this in the back? This
afterwards.
is awesome. Has this show increased any interest in that sort of stuff for you guys?
It's something I've always been interested in anyways. I think it's really a fascinating thing. And actually, to your point, have you ever heard of the Schumann's resonance? Has anyone ever heard about that?
No.
I'm not going to get it completely right, so I'll just give a vague description of it. But it was based off, Schumann is the guy who discovered it, but there's this energy field around the Earth that scientists have, confirmed, and there's like, we have the layers that we know about, but then there's this other layer that because of the way that it is vibrating, there's a website that I actually have bookmarked on my phone, and I think it calculates the time from Russia and the date from Russia. Like, so you'll see whenever it has the energy field going up and down, and you'll be able to see that whenever there's a lot of like the white over and over and over this one part, you'll look around and the world has been in a lot of like stress and chaos, and you might personally have a lot of anxiety and stuff. So it's an interesting thing because it is just based in the science of like the energy field that's around the Earth. Yeah, so it's called Schumann's, like SCHUMANN, I think. Yeah, Schumann's resonance. It's a really fascinating thing, but it's exactly what she was talking about.
I mean, we all do have that energy, and other characters on the show, the Gestalt, which are these 4 people who have a collective consciousness, essentially.
Hive mind.
Yeah, a hive mind.
They're four separate individuals, but they all think from the same brain. And so if you have one conversation with one of them, you've had it with all 4 of them. yeah, it's a really interesting character.
But don't you guys feel like you have that with your best friends anyway? Like, or like family? Like there's, you know,
Yeah,
obviously.
family, yes, I get it. Like my mum and my daughter will often text the same thing at the same time. Yeah, that sort of thing.
I
Yeah.
also feel like they look like an indie band.
They, I think, are coming out with an album. You heard it here. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, they
I
do look like,
totally
they do
agree.
look like
Yes,
a band.
Brittany.
Yes.
I was like, I'd listen to whatever they're singing. And also, I feel like they're going to be really amazing Halloween costumes
Yes.
based on this show in October.
Well, I'll say, Kat Stedman, who is the female in that the foursome, she's amazing. She wrote her first book, and when her very first novel, and while we were filming it, it came out and it debuted on the New York Times bestsellers list. It was her very first. It's called Something in the Water, and it's an amazing book. And I just want to shout out to her because she's just brilliant.
Yeah, it was
To be able to do
amazing.
that.
You know, she's filming a TV series and just happens to have a best-selling book.
For her very first
and
novel.
then I read it and talk about page turner. I
Yeah.
mean, that I was glued and spooked
Yeah, and Reese
by.
Witherspoon actually
Quite
optioned that for
brilliant.
her. Yeah.
We know when Reese gets her hands on something. So
Yeah.
we'll be looking for that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of books, this is based off of a book, and you mentioned that they advise you not to read it. So for fans who are fans of the book, it's going to be a different experience.
Yes.
In which ways?
So our show is
No dragons.
There's no dragons. The Daniel's book is really a young adult novel. There's a lot more fantasy. Our writers sort of took a different direction with it. So we take the same premise, but the narrative, the storylines, the characters are very, very different. But I did ask Daniel, the author, I said, you know, what do you think of it? And he loves it. He's really excited about what people can take from his work and, you know, this show that's gone totally different. So he's okay with it. So I hope that the fans will tune in and they'll accept that it's a different thing.
I always feel like that's a good just thing for them to know. If you don't go in expecting, right, and then you can just enjoy it for what it is. Obviously, it's a really strong story, and there's a lot of exciting things that still happen in it. So I think people are going to be excited. What are you guys most excited for viewers to see from The Rook?
I'm really excited to hear who people think have done it. I'm really excited for all the sort of guesses that people think, oh, I know. Like I want to see like how people are sort of gauging, you know, the answers to everything and all the conspiracy theories.
Yeah, the conspiracy theories, and because it is set in the world of Secret Service, I think everyone has a fascination about the powers behind, the powers that be that really control things, and to get lured in by that.
Yeah. Isn't a knowledge of chess important?
Good question.
I think in life, yes. I'm a big chess player. Yeah.
But for the, I mean, as you're following
well,
characters.
kind of in a way, just to observe what's going on and the different layers.
And understanding the hierarchy. I think that's, you know,
The
like Jolie plays the
hierarchy.
king, you know, which, you know, then you can kind of understand when they call, you know, what a rook is compared to what the king is, yeah.
And certain pieces have more power and can make certain moves and are vulnerable.
Make
in
certain
places.
moves. That's important.
See, I'm trying to like.
Yeah.
have theories.
You're there.
I'm trying. I'm so bad at solving puzzles, though, guys.
Me too.
Really?
too.
Oh, I'm the worst. I like take it at face value. I'm like, this is what it is.
Yeah,
And
me
no,
too.
it's not. Before we go, we do have a couple of questions for the audience. Who do we have first? Right here.
Hi, how do you deal with onset anxiety in regards to your acting performance?
You just, I mean, I think it's something we all deal with in every day, no matter what job you're doing, and just the self-confidence, and as you get older, trying to sort of trust your instinct. And that's why I really enjoy playing this character, because all that she has to go on is instinct. And so for me personally, I sort of felt a real parallel with the character of just learning to like find your voice and know that you're important and you have something to say. And I think it's just taking a step back, and you know, it's entertainment,
Yeah.
So try and enjoy it.
But
Try
I
and
think-
enjoy every experience.
And what Emma was saying is that everyone has that every day in their lives, whatever their jobs, and sometimes we do jam up. I think it's just important to really try and breathe through it, to own the fact that you have the right to mess up, so you're not sort of crucifying yourself because you did. But then I heard this thing, there was Martha Graham was a great choreographer, and her big thing was just keep the channels open. Which just stops you like freezing. Just keep the channels open. The work will work through me.
Do you have anxiety in your life? Yeah, because it's a really specific. I think it's a great question too. It's really important for people to ask those questions and talk about it. I've dealt with anxiety a lot in my life. I used to have the worst panic attacks, and it just was really hard for me for a long time. And I still struggle with it, but been able to figure it out by, you know, keeping everything they're saying, keeping those channels open, giving yourself the freedom to fall and to fail. but the biggest thing that works for me is I always get more anxiety if I, like, you know, when you get that anxiety, you get kind of frozen, right? And then in your head, it gets worse because you're thinking, oh, I'm delaying things, people are waiting for me, this is gonna be bad, or I'm not gonna get the job, I'm gonna do a bad job, I'm gonna lose my job, I'm not gonna be able to, you know, all those things start to roll through. So what I just have learned for myself is that if I don't just stop and take the time to breathe and just, you know, if I miss that moment, I miss that moment. If I can't go do that interview, if I can't do it, just, you know, life will keep going and I will pick myself up. But if I force myself to do something in the state of mind that is not good for me, it will just create more anxiety. And nothing is worth it. I mean, there will be something else. You know, nothing is worth, you know, you pushing yourself to do something that you don't feel comfortable. And once you feel power in that, and you can go, you know what, I can decide when I get up and do this or walk away, and that things will be okay, then the anxiety starts to dissipate, I think.
And I think sometimes you really need support from your co-workers, because like it often happens with actors on film sets, or everyone has a different day when stuff's going wrong for them. And you feel so alone in that moment. I've certainly been there, and I've been on the other side of it when I see someone else freaking out. And I try to always reach out and say, it's fine, you'll get it when you'll get it. It's happened to me, we've all been there. Don't worry, mess up 10 times, you'll get it the 11th. So that helps, I think.
I'm interested what the vibe is like on set too. I read, you know, it's female showrunners, some female directors, writers. I read in one story, like at least 50% of the crew is female. And that seems to be something that's growing in certain shoots, and probably something that feels positive.
Yeah, I feel really proud to be
Definitely.
part of,
Yeah.
of this new wave of understanding that it's all, everyone's important, everyone has a voice, and everyone, you know, it doesn't matter what your gender is, what you identify as, like, you have a place, and you have a
Absolute
voice.
representation of everyone. We're all equal.
That made me really happy when I read that about the show. Because I was like, I see
too.
3 amazing female leads. It's just nice to know that's also happening behind the camera as
It's
well.
also
Absolutely.
the people who are just the best for the job. You know, Kari Skoglund, who was the director of the first 2 episodes, and the director of a TV series is really important for the first few episodes because they set the tone. And the day before I started filming with Kari, she had won the BAFTA for Best Director for Handmaid's Tale. So it's great that she's a female, so we can, you know, help with the equality, but she just happened to be the best.
She's at the top of her game.
Yeah,
Top of the game.
her game.
Absolutely. And one last question.
Hi.
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 My question's for Olivia. I used to watch you on Daily Show and Attack of the Show, and I think you're great. And I was wondering what it was like switching from that side of television to this side.
Well, thanks. Thanks so much for watching all that. When I was on Attack of the Show, I actually turned down the job. Like I was auditioning, you know, for if I could just get like a call back for like Ross Dress for Less. I was like, oh, this would be amazing. And so when they offered me Attack of the Show, it was going to be like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I was like, I can't. I'm, you know, I want to try to be an actress, and I can't do that. So then they said, you know, well, we'll be supportive of that. So whatever you want to do. So then I started doing a lot of the skits and stuff, and that's how we started coming up with it with Blair Butler and Mike Shaw was our comedy writer. And I just always wanted the audience to see me in different characters, even if I was, you know, putting on just superheroes to be funny and to make, you know, little skits. I just wanted the audience to never just get used to me as just Olivia, as, you know, a host. And then The Daily Show was the first big, you know, big break after that. And The Daily Show was all scripted anyways. And so that was a really nice transition. Then it was to the newsroom. But it's something I'd always wanted to do. But I think the biggest challenge, honestly, is just missing it. I mean, I miss Attack of the Show every day. There is not a day that goes by that I don't just, in somewhere in the back of my head, I just think, God, I wish I was doing it. It was honestly the most fun I've ever had. It was, you know, something we did every single day. We were live. I love being live because I can say whatever I want, and like, you can't make me take it back. And it was just, and everybody there was just so amazing. And I stayed in touch with all of them. And The Daily Show, you know, I was just back, you know, yesterday with Trevor, and same, you know, crew there and stage managers and everybody. And it was just, that was a really great learning. That I learned so much from being there with Jon Stewart and watching him. You know, we would, every day, all day long, people would be writing the script, right? And then he does rehearsal. And there's about 45 minutes before he tapes live. And then he goes into this room after rehearsal. He goes into a room and it's a small room with whoever's on the show that day, whichever correspondent, and then the writers, and he just walks back and forth in this little room smaller than the stage, and he changes almost every word, it feels like, and he just condenses and shortens it, and it's always smarter, funnier, faster, and I learned just so much just from watching him. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Talk about different characters. I'm wondering for you two as well, in your previous projects, Nip Tuck, Shameless, how important is it for you to always challenge yourself and choose characters that are so different from previous projects?
You know, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have the change in a character. I think it's a lot easier to play someone further from your true self. And I love the challenge. I love sort of diving into a character and getting to explore that person's life in that world. So it's a dream as an actor to be offered that sort of varied sort of characters.
Yeah, I'd sometimes people used to ask me, like, what do you do for a living? And I felt really embarrassed to say actor. And so I'd sort of hum and ha, and I'd try and like skirt around the edges, and then I'd say this rather pretentious word of storyteller. But basically, I am obsessed with people's stories. Everyone has a really interesting story. So what I like to do is just play different stories. So each person's a different character, and that's really fun for me. But I must say, listening to Olivia then, if I had a dream job of something I haven't done, it would be to do skits like that. I think
You'd
that
be
would
so great at
be
it, though.
my idea of heaven, and just to be silly and funny. Having said that, I think it takes a hell of a lot of guts and a hell of a lot of discipline. I mean, it's a real talent. You know, people think, oh, comedy's easy. No way. Comedy's like one of the hardest things. But that would be a dream job, one I haven't done. They're just saying it, putting it out.
Hey, it's not too late. We have the internet.
Never too late.
You can do whatever you want on the internet.
No, well,
you can curse.
I was telling Emma my idea. I was telling, well, except no one here will know. My mother's an actress, and a really
know
good
who your
one.
mother is.
Do you know who my mother is? Okay, well, maybe a lot of people in this
Vanessa
room probably
Redgrave,
don't.
if you
but
don't.
Anyway, well,
yeah.
she's done well.
They
She's
know.
won Oscars, stuff like that. Anyway, so my idea is that she and I would do a skit on YouTube of Grey Gardens.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
It would be funny, right?
Actually finding
God, can I
finance
want-
right now.
yeah,
This
I
is your
need-
platform.
Will you help
I
me,
need to be the
please?
camp. I want to be the. I want a part in there where I'm like the person trying to get you guys out.
Can you direct it, Olivia?
Oh my God,
Have
I
you
would love.
directed
Yeah,
yet?
no, but I will do
Okay,
this.
Will you?
Juice.
I'm not-
You have more experience in the skit, so me
Yes.
and my mum in like funny hats and all
I
these
believe
funny
I'm the
dances.
most equipped to direct your mother. But I believe that's next on my list. I believe I've just jumped. I went from literally the Rook to the King immediately. Could you imagine? Like, Vanessa, I need you to. Vanessa, I
No,
really need you to
Vanessa,
shake it up.
that's too much.
I'm like, sweetie,
Take it down.
honey, Vanessa, I need you to. Oh, you're eating up the scenery. Let's just.
Focus, Vanessa. Focus.
God, this is. Come on, your lines. That would be amazing. But that would be. You guys should. That would be hilarious.
Magic, honestly. How did we make that happen?
By the way, let me just say, Grey Gardens
yeah.
is kind of a good idea in just life in general when you think about it. I mean, maybe not like where you're not like, letting like, weeds grow through your life, but like, just like hanging out with your friends, maybe not your mom, but like just hanging out forever. Sounds kind of awesome,
Put on funny costume.
Real, I watched Grey Gardens, and I was living at home at that time, and I moved out like the next week.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I
For
swear
real?
to God, for
No,
sure.
It really hit
get
you like
that.
that.
I
It
get
hit me
that.
real hard because me and my mom are tight, and I was like, but I don't want to get too tight.
But you see, I'm the same way, and that's why after I watched it, I was like, cleanliness. Like the pet food goes there. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's slightly triggering, but I'm
Yeah, it
excited,
is.
and I hope this happens. She's directing. We
I
just
would
made
love
magic.
this. I would love this. This is exciting. I feel like we should sell it as like a docu-series. This is amazing. Does Build want to buy it? We're very
absolutely.
expensive.
I love Olivia.
I'm directing.
Like, straight on. Yeah.
We're going
no,
to do
it's
this.
good.
Oh, I can't wait. I've got to go. I got to go figure this out. I got to go sell some shit.
I'm so excited. I think we just invented something amazing. You guys are witness to it. Can't wait to see it. But in the meantime, you guys can check out The Rook. It really is a great show, guys.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thanks
It's
for
such a
being
ride.
excited.
I can't wait to finish it.
Thank
If you
you,
guys want to check it
Brittany.
out, The Rook premieres on June 30th on STARZ. Put your hands together for Olivia Munn, Emma Greenwell, and Jolie Richardson.